Alright guys, welcome back to Midwest Long Range. Today we're going to do a more, I'd say, traditional review of the Maven RS4. Stick with me, you won't want to miss it. Alright, so we have the Maven RS4 mounted up in a set of Hawkins Precision ultralight tactical rings with the side bubble level, but I also opted for the sunshade, went ahead and purchased that. But I've been using this optic for about a year now, and I've used it on everything from rimfires to centerfires, and I've competed with it. I've had other people compete with it. Bud Weber used it several times. He as you can go back, you can look at one of our earlier BS at the Bench episodes, I believe, where Bud and I kind of talk about the optic. Well, he and I both, we really enjoyed it. Overall, we'll just kind of go through a few things here. The turrets are not terribly audible. That you can hear them, they're there. But I've had much louder scopes as far as that goes. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. Maven optics tend to lean more on the hunting side of things. And when you're hunting, I don't really know that you want that snap, 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 snap. That you would think of maybe on a, I don't want to name any of the others out there, but there's definitely some scopes out there that are extremely audible. But this one's a little quieter. You can still hear it. You can distinguish it. Very tactile. There it is. But it doesn't take a ton of force to turn the thing. I always kind of hate that about some of the scopes out there where you got to bear down on it. Now, not saying that everything's perfect on this scope, just that's kind of where we're at on the turrets. Both of them are very nice. Also, the toolless Re-Zero, and then you can see the disc style zero stop in here. These are just, I really like the way that you can break these turret caps down and Re-Zero them very fast. You don't need an Allen wrench and a bunch of extra stuff to try to get into that. Now, we get over into something that bothers me a little bit. The parallax on this scope is remarkably hard to turn, very firm. It will not budge on you during a match or during hunting or whatever. You set it where you want it and it's there. I promise, because turning this thing, it's very smooth. I'll give them that. It's smooth, but you need, some vice grips to get a hold of it. But there's no slop or anything in like that. I just want to let you know it is very firm. Now, that's going to be kind of a continued theme through this, right? Even the zoom ring, I don't have a throw lever on it. I really wish I did, because this is another example where it is very firm, but it's also very smooth. Once it begins to move, there's no slop, there's no mush. It's just, that's what it is. But the knurling that they put on everything, on the turrets and on the zoom ring, you really get a good bite. I kind of wish that was over here on the parallax knob, to be honest with you. And then, of course, the fast focus eyepiece. Actually, this is one of my more favorite parts. This is very smooth, just firm enough that I know it's not going to be moving when I don't want it to. So keep that in mind as we kind of go through this optic. This is the 5-30x56 variant, which is obviously, like I said, the RS4. But one thing on the parallax, it does go in, I believe, it is numbered graduations. It's not like a graduated scale. I hear people kind of go back and forth on this one. I'm one that tends to prefer the graduated scale with no numbers. Just because, no two shooters are exactly alike, and in some cases, my eye may not match your eye, and it, what if parallaxes to 100 or say 800 yards for me may not be, or really it's probably more picky inside, for the rimfire guys, 50 to 300 yards, scopes can be pretty picky in that territory, so you're constantly playing with the parallax, and I just hate getting hung up on numbers, just because some scopes aren't that way. Now, you know, when you pay a certain amount of money for a scope, then maybe it should be. And I will say that the Maven has been pretty well spot on for me. That's not saying it would be for you. So I'm going to grab the trigger cam. We're going to mount it up here, and you know, we'll look at some objects out in the distance and take a look at the reticle that's in this scope. All right, so right now we're focused on what I believe to be an oak tree out there. Not a tree expert, but as you can see, this is a very clear scope. I really like this reticle with the 2/10 holes. The center dot's more of a diamond in this case. I really do. It's a very interesting setup and scope to me. I've really enjoyed shooting it so far. So like I said, we've got the trigger cam up here. I'm going to go to the app in my phone so that I can see what you're seeing in the optic. All right, so like I said, we're looking just off to the left side of that tree, and I'm going to adjust our parallax down, and we're sucking in. I believe that tree, that these branches here that we're looking at now. Ooh, that's not where we want it. So right there, we're just a touch over 150 yards, and that's probably pretty close. I know where that tree is. I'm sitting here looking at it kind of across my neighbor's yard, and you know, we're just taking a gander here. And you know, we can focus that in, no problem. That oak tree that we were looking at, if we readjust here, so as we've readjusted, we should be, let me take a look. Yeah, we're back at that oak tree. That's right around, that's a long way away. It's I don't even know, that may be over 1,000 yards, to be honest with you. I'd have to go grab my rangefinders and check it to be sure. But really a nice scope. Again, I really like the reticle. Here, we'll kind of pull that out just a little bit here. Give you a little better look at that. So there's a little better look at the reticle. I can't turn the zoom ring much further. I'll hit the trigger cam. But so there you can kind of see the field a little better. That's our Christmas tree style reticle. So at our 1 mil subtensions down in our holdover field, at the 1 mil we have 1/2 mil windage. Then at 2 mil we have 2/10 tree. Again, down to probably 3 mil. I bet we have another set of 1/2 mils in there, and then so on and so forth as it carries on down through the reticle. This keeps the reticle kind of decluttered and gives you a very wide field of view. I like it. Very nice for hunting and being able to see. I like it for rimfire too, because it gives me a lot of open area to spot those really hard to see impacts, or spot those hard to see misses even. With rimfire, we don't get a big, you don't throw up dirt or a big disturbance. And depending on the ground and the foliage and all the grass and what have you, you may be in the same situation like on this rifle here. This is a 6.5 Creedmoor. Could be very much so the same thing going on, but usually with centerfire you get a little bigger signature when you impact whatever your dirt or down in the grass or what have you. You stand a little bit better chance of seeing your impact than you do with rimfire. Sometimes it's a little harder to see. Now that could be negated by recoil, obviously. If this is an 11-pound rifle shooting 6.5 Creedmoor, there's a bit of recoil. Spotting your miss is going to be fairly difficult inside, say, 600 yards. 600 and beyond, you will start to get a little bit better at spotting those misses. you got a little more time for recovery, right? But this is such a light rifle that it would jump quite a bit. It may still be very difficult. If this was sitting on top of, say, like a 6-dasher or a 6BR, no problem. We're spotting impacts all day long on one of those Oklahoma specials, you know, impact actions and foundation stocks, and of course they wouldn't have a Maven, they'd have a Tangent. But hey, I'm not from Oklahoma, so whatever. Sorry guys, I can't help but pick on you a little bit. But anyway guys, so there it is, the Maven RS4. I really like this scope. I've done some tracking tests myself. I don't have a tall target here to do the tall target test or a box, but it tracks flawlessly. There's several other guys out there who have tested these, and you can go check that out and see it if you want to. I just don't have the stuff here to do it today. But I appreciate you watching, and go check out Maven Optics. Go to their website, check them out. They're out of Wyoming, and I do believe they are assembled here in the U.S. I could be wrong about that too, but I think they are. I know this scope here is Japanese glass, but I'm not sure. Someone was telling me they might be assembled here in the USA, so I'll have to double check into that and look to be sure. But guys, I really appreciate you hanging out with me and watching the channel today. Stay safe, keep shooting. Come back and see me next time right here on Midwest Long Range.